Isaac prayed for a child, for his wife was barren. God heard his plea, and Rebekah bore a burden. 2 lives grew within her, a struggle so real. The Lord revealed a truth to seal. 2 nations, 2 peoples, divided at birth. One stronger, one older, the younger gains worth. Oh, the story begins in Rebekah's womb, a tale of struggle, destiny and ruin. Jacob and Esau, the brothers would vie for the blessing of God and the birthright nigh. Esau the hunter loved the fields and the game. Jacob stayed near with tents to his name. Isaac loved Esau for the venison he'd bring. Rebekah loved Jacob, her heart and everything. Oh, the story begins in Rebekah's womb, a tale of struggle, destiny and ruin. Jacob and Esau, the brothers would vie for the blessing of God and the birthright nigh. One day Esau returned tired and weak. Jacob offered stew, a price to speak. For your birthright, Jacob said. Esau swore an oath for the bread. So the elder sold what was precious and grand for a bowl of stew by Jacob's hand. Despising his birthright, Esau walked away, while Jacob held the promise to stay. The birthright was sold, the tale takes its place, a step in God's plan, His unfolding grace. Oh, the story begins in Rebekah's womb, a tale of struggle, destiny and ruin. Jacob and Esau, the brothers would vie for the blessing of God and the birthright nigh.
A famine arose in the land once again. Oh, a test for men. Isaac journeyed to Gerar in Philistine land, to Abimelech their king by God's command. The Lord appeared and said, "Do not fear, stay in this land, for I am near. I'll bless you and your seed with this ground. The covenant of Abraham will abound. Stay where I send you and walk in my will. I'll multiply your offspring, my promise to fulfill. Through you the nations will see my light. For Abraham obeyed me and lived upright." Isaac dwelled in Gerar as God had told, but fear took hold, a story was sold. Rebekah was called his sister, not wife, lest the men take her and end his life. Days passed by, the king came to see. He noticed Isaac's affection, tender as could be. Abimelech said, "She's your wife, not your kin. Why did you lie and bring this sin?" Isaac replied, "I feared for my life. They'd kill me for Rebekah, my beautiful wife." The king declared, "Let no harm come near. Touch them not, it's a law to hear. Stay where I send you and walk in my will. I'll multiply your offspring, my promise to fulfill. Through you the nations will see my light. For Abraham obeyed me and lived upright. Stay where I send you and walk in my will. I'll multiply your offspring, my promise to fulfill. Through you the nations will see my light. For Abraham obeyed me and lived upright." So Isaac stayed in the land of Gerar, protected by God, his blessings not far. The covenant continued, a story divine. God's faithfulness flows through all time.
Abimelech came with friends by his side. Joseph and Phicol, their steps were wide. Isaac questioned, "Why do you come to me? You hated me once, now what do you see?" They answered with words, humble and clear, "We see the Lord's hand has brought you near. Let's make a covenant, a binding call, to live in peace, no harm at all. Peace and promise the Lord provides. He heals the rifts, restores the ties. From foes to friends by his decree, a bond is formed in unity. Isaac prepared a feast that night. They ate and drank till the morning light. With hearts at ease they sealed the vow, a pact of peace before God now. That day Isaac's servants brought good news. "We found water flowing, a gift to use." He called it Sheba, the well of the oath, and the city Beersheba marked their growth. Peace and promise the Lord provides. He heals the rifts, restores the ties. From foes to friends by his decree, a bond is formed in unity. But Esau's choices brought sorrow deep. To Hittite wives his parents would weep. Judith and Basemath, their ways unkind, a bitter grief on Isaac's mind. The story unfolds, the lessons stay. God's covenant guides us along his way. From wells to bonds, through joy and strife, his blessings flow in every life.
Isaac sowed his seed in Gerar's land, and the Lord blessed the work of his hand. 100-fold harvest wealth did grow, with flocks and herds in a mighty show. The Philistines envied the sight so great. God's hand on Isaac stirred their hate. They stopped up the wells, his father's pride. And Abimelech said, you must reside outside. Move from here, but don't lose heart. The Lord is with you, He sets you apart. When men push you, God pulls you higher. He fulfills His promise, your soul's desire. Isaac departed and pitched his tent to the valley of Gerar, where his steps were sent. He dug the wells his father had made, restoring the waters in God's shade. But strife arose when the servants found water flowing deep in the ground. The herdsmen of Gerar claimed it all, and Isaac named it Esau after their brawl. Then he dug another, but disputes began, so he called it Setna, strife from man. He moved on again to a place of peace, Rehoboth, where the quarrels ceased. Move from here, but don't lose heart. The Lord is with you, He sets you apart. When men push you, God pulls you higher. He fulfills His promise, your soul's desire. From there to Beersheba, Isaac came. The Lord appeared and called his name. Fear not, for I am with you still. My covenant stands, I'll fulfill my will. Isaac built an altar and called on the Lord. He worshiped the one who keeps his word. His servants dug another well that day, and water flowed to bless his stay. Move from here, but don't lose heart. The Lord is with you, He sets you apart. When men push you, God pulls you higher. He fulfills His promise, your soul's desire. Isaac's journey was blessed and bright, for God led him through every fight, with wells of promise and faith anew. The Lord is faithful and always true. Isaac grew old, his eyes were dim. He called for Esau, his eldest kin. My son, he said, I'm nearing the end. Take your bow and hunt, let the feast begin. Prepare me the gape I love to eat, so I may bless you, my son, complete. Before I die, with my spirit free, the blessing will pass to you from me. Oh, the plans of man and the plans of God, through twists and turns His will is wrought. What seems a scheme He'll bring to light, guiding His promise with power and might. Rebekah listened, her heart took heed. The younger would rise as the Lord decreed. She called to Jacob, He'll bring to light, guiding His promise with power and might. Bring 2 young goats from the flock you keep. I'll prepare the dish so rich and sweet. Take it to Isaac, disguise your hand. Receive his blessing as God has planned. Oh, the plans of man and the plans of God, through twists and turns His will is wrought. What seems a scheme He'll bring to light, guiding his promise with power and might. But Jacob feared, what if he knows I'm smooth and Esau is rough as he goes? If I'm caught, his curse will fall on me, not blessings meant for eternity. Rebekah replied, let the curse be mine. Just do as I say, it will all align. So Jacob obeyed, brought the goats in hand. Rebekah cut as she had planned. The story unfolds with human design, yet God's promise weaves through time. From fear to faith, through right and wrong, his purpose prevails, steady and strong.
Rebekah took the clothes of Esau, the finest garments, she made them raw. She clothed her son with skins of goats and placed them on Jacob as the plan she wrote. She placed the meat and bread in his hand, sent him to Isaac by God's command. Jacob hesitated, his heart full of fear. Will Father know? Will the blessing appear? Through the shadows and through the night, God's will prevails, his truth shines bright. What man may intend for harm and strife, God will use to fulfill his life. Jacob entered with a trembling voice. Father, it's me, I've made your choice. Isaac, confused, asked, how did you find the game so quickly, my son, my kind? Jacob replied, the Lord helped me so. He led me swiftly to make it so. Isaac, still doubtful, questioned once more, are you really my son, Esau, for sure? Through the shadows and through the night, God's will prevails, his truth shines bright. What man may intend for harm and strife, God will use to fulfill his life. Isaac spoke the blessing, the covenant call. May nations serve you and peoples fall. You live in abundance, the land be yours, and may your seed endure forevermore.
As soon as Isaac finished the meal, and Jacob had left with a blessing so real, Esau returned from hunting the game. And when he came in, he called his name. Father, arise, eat of your feast, that your soul may bless me, your son the least. But Isaac trembled, his voice full of dread. He said, "Who are you?" The blessing's already said. Esau wept with bitter cries, his heart broken under the skies. He begged for mercy, but it was too late. God's plan had spoken, sealing his fate. Esau pleaded, "Father, don't you see? Is there no blessing left for me?" Isaac said, "Your brother came with guile. He stole your blessing, though it's vile." Esau's heart broke, his face full of grief. "I've been robbed, my hope turned to grief." He lifted his voice in a desperate plea, "Father, bless me too, or I'll never be free." Esau wept with bitter cries, his heart broken under the skies. He begged for mercy, but it was too late. God's plan had spoken, sealing his fate. Isaac then said, "I have blessed him indeed, and he shall be blessed, my word is decreed. But for you, Esau, there's still a way. You'll serve your brother, but on this day. Yet when you grow restless and you break free, you shake off the yoke from your neck, you'll flee." Esau's fury burned deep inside. He swore revenge, his pain could not hide. Esau wept with bitter cries, his heart broken under the skies. He begged for mercy, but it was too late. God's plan had spoken, sealing his fate. Rebekah heard of Esau's rage and knew his wrath would soon engage. She called to Jacob, "Run and flee, go to my brother in Haran, be free."
Rebekah spoke with Isaac one day, "Esau's wives have made me dismayed. They've brought sorrow to my heart. From the Hittites they've torn us apart." She said, "I cannot bear to see Jacob marry like Esau, you see. Let's send him to my brother far away, so he may find a wife and stay." Isaac called to Jacob, said, "Go, my son, go to Paddan Aram, where the journey's begun. Take a wife from Laban's home, and there you'll find a place of your own."
Isaac blessed him as he had done before the Lord and the righteous one. "Be fruitful and multiply, the promise of Abraham shall not die." Jacob arose and took his flight, leaving the home into the night. He left with faith the blessing he'd received, and on this journey he would believe. Isaac called to Jacob, said, "Go, my son, go to Paddan Aram, where the journey's begun. Take a wife from Laban's home, and there you'll find a place of your own." Isaac called to Jacob, said, "Go, my son, go to Paddan Aram, where the journey's begun. Take a wife from Laban's home, and there you'll find a place of your own." Esau saw it, and he knew it was true, that Isaac had sent Jacob his view to find a wife from Abraham's kin. But Esau thought, I'll try again to win.
Esau took another wife that day, the daughter of Ishmael he'd pay, to please his father though it was late. A foolish choice driven by hate. Isaac called to Jacob, said, go my son, go to Paddan Aram, where the journey's begun. Take a wife from Laban's home, and there you'll find a place of your own. Jacob, with the blessing in hand, left his home and crossed the land. On his journey alone but bold, God's promise to him would soon unfold. Rebekah heard of Esau's rage and knew his wrath would soon engage. She called to Jacob, run and flee. Go to my brother in Haran, be free.
As night fell, he found a place to stay, a stone for a pillow. He began to pray. There beneath the vast starry dome, Jacob dreamed of a heavenly home. A ladder stretched from earth to the skies, angels ascending before his eyes. God of Abraham, Isaac too, the land you sleep on I give to you. Your descendants shall be as the dust of the earth, spreading in promise, revealing their worth. I am with you wherever you go. I'll bring you back, my promise will grow. Your family will bless every tribe, every land. My word is unbroken, it will forever stand. Jacob awoke, trembling in fear. Surely the Lord is present here. This is no ordinary earthly place. It's the house of God, full of grace. God of Abraham, Isaac too, the land you sleep on I give to you. Your descendants shall be as the dust of the earth, spreading in promise, revealing their worth. Early that morning he took the stone, set it up like a pillar alone. He poured oil on it and named it Bethel, declaring the place where God chose to dwell. If you keep me safe along my way, and give me food and clothes each day, then Lord, you shall forever be my God, my guide, my destiny. This stone shall be your house divine, a pillar of promise, a sacred sign. Of all you give me, a tenth will I bring, a covenant offering to my King. God of Abraham, Isaac too, the land you sleep on I give to you. Your descendants shall be
as the dust of the earth, spreading in promise, revealing their worth.
Jacob journeyed, his steps led east, through fields of promise, his hope increased. He came to a well in a shepherd's land. A stone lay heavy, rolled by hand. 3 flocks of sheep were gathered near, waiting for water, their shepherds in cheer. The stone's not moved till all are here. The custom was clear, the rules sincere. In a foreign land, Jacob stood, seeking a sign, trusting God's good. Through strangers' words, his path aligned. God's hand was leading, his purpose defined. He asked, my brothers, from where do you hail? From her, and they answered with a friendly tale. Do you know Laban, Nahor's son? Yes, he's well, and his flocks still run. Here comes Rachel, his daughter fair. With sheep she tends, with loving care. Jacob's heart quickened, his spirit soared, for here was the family his mother adored. In a foreign land, Jacob stood, seeking a sign, trusting God's good. Through strangers' words, his path aligned. God's hand was leading, his purpose defined. When Rachel arrived, her sheep at her side, Jacob stepped forward, his strength amplified. He rolled the stone, a shepherd's feet. Water flowed freely, their task complete. He kissed her gently, his heart aflame. I am your cousin, Jacob's my name. Your father's kin, your mother's pride. I've come to Haran, with God as my guide. In a foreign land, Jacob stood, seeking a sign, trusting God's good. Through strangers' words, his path aligned. God's hand was leading, his purpose defined. Rachel ran to her father's door, telling the tale of Jacob once more. Laban rushed out, his joy so true, welcoming Jacob with a love renewed.
Laban embraced him, a joyful sight. Jacob, his kin, had come that night. For a month he stayed, worked with zeal, tending the flocks with love and skill. Laban spoke, your family true, but for your work a wage is due. Tell me, Jacob, what's your price? Speak your heart, let's make it precise. Oh, 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 for love so deep, Jacob would strive. 7 long years to keep hope alive. A promise made, a heart so sure. For Rachel's hand he'd gladly endure. Rachel the younger, with beauty divine, her eyes were bright, her soul aligned. Leah, her sister, was tender-eyed, but Jacob's love could not be denied.
I'll serve 7 years for Rachel's hand, your younger daughter as we've planned. Laban agreed, his heart content, for Jacob's loyalty heaven sent. Oh, 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 for love so deep, Jacob would strive 7 long years to keep hope alive. A promise made, a heart so sure, for Rachel's hand he'd gladly endure. The years passed swiftly, love's flame burned bright. Day by day, Jacob dreamed of the night when Rachel would stand as his chosen bride, their union blessed with God as their guide. At the end of years, Jacob did say, "Give me my wife, don't delay, for my time is done, my vow complete. Let the wedding joyfully meet." Oh, 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 for love so deep, Jacob would strive 7 long years to keep hope alive. A promise made, a heart so sure, for Rachel's hand he'd gladly endure. The feast was set, the evening drew near, but a twist of fate would soon appear. Jacob's heart was steadfast and true, unaware of what Laban would do.
The night was dark, the feast was grand. Jacob waited to take her hand, but under the veil, in dim lit light, lay a secret hidden from Jacob's sight. Morning dawned, the truth revealed. Leah beside him, the pack concealed. Jacob's heart was torn with strife. This isn't Rachel, she's not my wife. A promise broken, a trick unfair. Jacob's love turned to despair. Yet through it all, he held on tight. For Rachel's love, he'd still fight. To Laban's tent, Jacob did go. What have you done? I need to know. 7 long years I worked with care for Rachel's hand. This isn't fair. Laban replied with calm and ease, "It's not our custom, if you please, to wed the younger while the elder waits. First Leah's time, then Rachel's gates." A promise broken, a trick unfair. Jacob's love turned to despair. Yet through it all, he held on tight. For Rachel's love, he'd still fight. To Laban's tent, Jacob did go. What have you done? I need to know. Yet through it all, he held on tight. For Rachel's love, he'd still fight. Fulfill these week, and then you'll see Rachel will come, she'll be yours to be. But 7 more years you'll need to stay. For Rachel's love, you'll have to pay. Jacob agreed, though his heart was torn. 7 more years he'd again be sworn. Leah's week passed, and Rachel came, but love's labor would burn the same. A promise broken, a trick unfair. Jacob's love turned to despair. Yet through it all, he held on tight. For Rachel's love, he'd still fight. 2 sisters wed, their lives entwined. God's greater purpose, yet undefined. Through trials, tears, and love's demand, Jacob's journey was in God's hand.
When the Lord saw Leah's tears, her heart weighed down by hidden fears, He opened her womb, His blessing poured. While Rachel waited, her heart implored. Leah bore a son, and she named him Reuben. Surely now Jacob's heart will be open. Then Simeon came, for God had heard the cry of Leah in every word. A tale of longing, a heart's desire, a family forged through trials and fire. God's plan unfolds through joy and pain, His blessings flow again and again. Lean the Lord saw Leah's tears, her heart weighed down by hidden fears. He opened her womb, His blessing poured. While Rachel waited, her heart implored. Leah bore a Levite and Judah too, sons who would carry God's promise through. But Rachel wept, her arms still bare, a cry to heaven, her soul laid bare. She turned to Jacob in deep despair. Give me children or I'll perish here. But Jacob's heart was filled with flame. Am I in God's place to bear the blame? A tale of longing, a heart's desire, a family forged through trials and fire. God's plan unfolds through joy and pain, His blessings flow again and again. She turned to Jacob in deep despair. Give me children or I'll perish here. But Jacob's heart was filled with flame. Am I in God's place to bear the blame? Rachel gave Bilhah, her servant true. Through her perhaps my dreams renew. Bilhah bore Dan, and Rachel said, the Lord has judged and heard what I pled. Naphtali came, and Rachel proclaimed, I've wrestled with Leah and gained the name. But in their striving God's plan was sure, a lineage of promise forever pure. A tale of longing, a heart's desire, a family forged through trials and fire. God's plan unfolds through joy and pain, His blessings flow again and again. Through the cries, the tears and the fight, God's faithfulness shone, His guiding light. In the story of Jacob's growing light, the seed of redemption, God's design.
When Leah saw her childbearing cease, she sought another way to find peace. She gave her maid Zilpah to Jacob's side, and through her more children would abide. God was born, a name of cheer, for good fortune has come, I hold it near. Asher followed, his name declared, happy am I, Leah's joy was shared. The blessings of God, they overflow through trials and love, His will they know. A family grows through joy and strife, God weaves His plan into their life. In harvest time, Reuben found mandrakes growing in the ground. Rachel pleaded, please give me those. A trade with Leah soon arose. Leah met Jacob as the sun fell low. I've hired your time, to me you'll go. And God remembered Leah's cry. Her prayers ascended to the sky. The blessings of God, they overflow. Through trials and love, His will they know. A family grows through joy and strife. God weaves His plan into their life. Issachar came, for Leah knew God has rewarded the work I do. Then Zebulun followed, a name of pride. Now my husband will stay by my side. To Leah a daughter was also given, Dinah, a gift from the Lord of heaven. But Rachel's heart still deeply yearned for the blessing her soul discerned. God heard Rachel and opened her womb. Her sorrow gave way, joy began to bloom. She bore a son, and Joseph he'd be. May God add another, a child for me. The blessings of God, they overflow. Through trials and love, His will they know. A family grows through joy and strife. God weaves His plan into their life. From Leah and Rachel the children came, each with a purpose, each with a name. In every season God's hand was clear, His promise enduring year by year.
When Joseph was born, Jacob stood to say, "It's time to go home, send me on my way to my own country, my family's land. Release me now as the Lord has planned." Laban replied, "If I found favor here, stay, for the Lord has blessed me, it's clear. Name your wages, don't hold back. Your work has filled my life with lack." God blesses His own in work and in field. Through faithful hands His power revealed. Jacob trusted the Lord would provide. Through labor and wisdom He'd be Jacob's guide. Jacob spoke, "You know my toil, how your wealth has grown with my loyal toil. When I came, your flock was few. Now it's abundant because God is true." Laban asked, "What shall I give?" Jacob replied, "Nothing, but let me live, let me pass through your flock today, taking the spotted and speckled away." God blesses His own in work and in field. Through faithful hands His power revealed. Jacob trusted the Lord would provide. Through labor and wisdom He'd be Jacob's guide. Jacob said, "The dark, the mark shall be mine. The rest will remain as yours by design. My honesty, my work will show. The flocks will tell how faithful I grow." Laban agreed but took deceitful steps, hiding the marked flocks in his own preps. He placed them far, 3 days apart. But Jacob was wise with a discerning heart. He placed rods of poplar, almond and plane, where the flocks would drink his wisdom plain. The flocks that bred near the rods in sight bore speckled and spotted in colors bright. God blesses his own in work and in field, through faithful hands his power revealed. Jacob trusted the Lord would provide, through labor and wisdom he'd be Jacob's guide. Jacob's flocks grew strong and vast, with God's provision his wealth was amassed. For through each trial his faith would sing, that blessings flow from heaven's King.
Jacob heard the whispers, the words of disdain. Laban's son spoke of his growing gain. All he owns was taken from our father's hand. Jacob's grown wealthy from our father's land. Laban's face no longer kind, resentment grew in his heart and mind. Jacob saw the change, the warning clear. It was time to move, for God was near. When God gives the call, don't delay. Trust in his word, he'll lead the way. Through trials and fear, his voice will guide. With faith in your heart, he'll walk by your side. The Lord said to Jacob, return to your land, to the place of your fathers, as I've planned. I'll be with you, so do not fear. My promise stands, I'll always be near. Jacob called Rachel and Leah to the field, where the flocks grazed and the truth revealed. Your father's favor has turned from me, but the God of my father has set me free. He spoke of dreams, of God's command, how the Lord had blessed his hand. The flocks have multiplied despite Laban's deceit. The God of Bethel made his schemes obsolete. When God gives the call, don't delay. Trust in his word, he'll lead the way. Through trials and fear, his voice will guide. With faith in your heart, he'll walk by your side. Rachel and Leah, their voices aligned. Do what God says, his plan is divine. Our inheritance is lost, but God is just. We'll follow his lead, in him we trust. So Jacob packed all he owned, his children, his wives, the wealth he'd grown. He set his heart toward his home once more, to the land he dreamed of, the land he swore. But secretly he fled without a goodbye.
3 days passed, the word was clear. Jacob had fled with all he held dear. Laban gathered his kin, his band, and chased Jacob through the distant land. On the seventh day he drew near, but in a dream God's voice was clear. Do not harm him, speak no ill, for Jacob is under my will. When God intervenes, no foe can stand. He guards his chosen with a mighty hand. Through trials and threats, his plan unfolds. Trust in his promise, more precious than gold. Laban spoke with an aggrieved tone. Why did you leave as if unknown? Why steal away my daughters too, without farewell or a chance to pursue? You've taken my gods, Laban declared, but Jacob stood firm, his innocence bared. Search what I own, you'll find no theft, for my hands are clean, no guilt is left. Laban searched through tents and land, through all Jacob owned, with his men at hand. Rachel sat on the idols concealed. Laban's search yielded nothing revealed. When God intervenes, no foe can stand. He guards his chosen with a mighty hand. Through trials and threats, his plan unfolds. Trust in his promise, more precious than gold. Jacob rose, his voice grew strong. Why accuse me of doing wrong? For 20 years I've labored with care, through cold and heat, with burdens to bear. Your flocks I guarded, none went astray. For each loss I paid in every way. Through sleepless nights and toil untold, my faith in God kept my spirit bold. The God of my fathers, Abraham's Lord, has seen my struggle, my just reward.
God's hand is guiding, his promise is true. Laban spoke to Jacob with a weary tone. All these are mine, daughters, flocks my own. But what can I do? They are yours to keep. Your family is with you, their bond runs deep. Raise a stone, let the witness stand. God is the guard of this solemn band. Jacob took a stone, set it upright, and called his kin to seal the night. They gathered stones to build a mound, a witness between them, a sacred ground. God is the watcher of every vow. His peace is our guide, here and now. Laban named it Jacob with a weary tone. All these are mine, daughters, flocks my own. But what can I do? They are yours to keep. Your family is with you, their bond runs deep. Raise a stone, let the witness stand. God is the guard of this solemn band. Jacob took a stone, set it upright, and called his kin to seal the night. They gathered stones to build a mound, a witness between them, a sacred ground. Jacob took a stone, set it upright, and called his kin to seal the night. They gathered stones to build a mound, a witness between them, a sacred ground. Jacob took a stone, set it upright, and called his kin to seal the night. They gathered stones to build a mound, a witness between them, a sacred ground. No harm shall come, no ill be planned, neither cross this mound to the other's land. In Mizpah they called it the place to proclaim, may the Lord watch between us in his name. Jacob swore by Isaac's fear, a covenant sealed for all who hear. He offered a sacrifice, they shared a meal, a bond in the presence of God to seal. The Lord of peace will ever reign. In his grace we'll meet again. At dawn Laban blessed his daughters with tears, then journeyed home, leading Jacob near. The covenant stood, the past set free. In God's great plan, their paths would be. On his journey Jacob moved with care. Angels of God appeared there. This is God's camp, he said with awe, and named the place Mahanaim, no flaw. With a humble heart and gifts in hand, Jacob prayed to God to understand. In fear and hope he sought the way, trusting God for another day. Messengers sent to Esau afar, your servant Jacob comes with flocks and jars. I've stayed with Laban, now I return, seeking your favor with lessons learned. The servants came back with heavy news. Esau was coming, his force in view. 400 men, Jacob's heart was torn, dividing his camp as the night was born. With a humble heart and gifts in hand, Jacob prayed to God to understand. In fear and hope he sought the way, trusting God for another day. O God of Abraham, Isaac too, you've shown me kindness through and through. Deliver me now from Esau's wrath. Keep your promise, show me the path. 200 goats and owls in a line, camels, cows, and bulls all fine. Each gift sent with words to say. Jacob follows, seeking peace this day. I'll pacify him, Jacob thought. With gifts of plenty my hope is bought. Perhaps my brother will see my heart, and God will guide a brand new start. With a humble heart and gifts in hand, Jacob prayed to God to understand. In fear and hope he sought the way. Jacob looked up and saw Esau near, 400 men, his heart filled with fear. He divided his children, arranged the line, with Leah and Rachel, his family aligned. Grace in humility, bowing low, seeking peace where mercy flows. Love over fear, God lights the way. In faith, Jacob faced the day. Seven times he bowed to the ground, until his brother with love was found. And Esau ran and embraced him tight. Tears of joy, a heartfelt sight. Who are these with you? Esau asked. Jacob replied, God's blessings vast. My children, my flocks, all that I own, are gifts from God, mercy shown. Grace in humility, bowing low, seeking peace where mercy flows. Love over fear, God lights the way. In faith, Jacob faced the day. Esau refused the gifts he saw. I have enough, I need no more. But Jacob insisted with heartfelt plea, take my blessing, it's God's decree. To see your face is like seeing God. Your kindness heals the path I've trod. Accept my gift, for my heart is glad. For God has blessed us in all we've had. Esau agreed and said with grace, let us journey together, face to face. But Jacob replied, the children are frail, let us follow a slower trail. Grace in humility, bowing low, seeking peace where mercy flows. Love over fear, God lights the way.
Dinah, the daughter of Leah and Jacob, went to visit the women of the land. Shechem, son of Hamor, saw her there and acted cruelly against God's plan. When the ways of the world clash with God's decree, justice and truth are what we must see. In broken trust and pain's heavy hand, we seek the wisdom of God's command. Shechem's heart longed for Dinah's grace. He spoke to his father, make her my wife. Hamor approached Jacob seeking peace. Let us unite and end this Jacob remained silent, his sons in the field. When they returned, their anger revealed. This is disgrace, an unholy thing. Our sister's honor is not to be seen. When the ways of the world clash with God's decree, justice and truth are what we must see. In broken trust and pain's heavy hand, we seek the wisdom of God's command. Hamor pleaded, our lands will combine. Intermarry with us, your kin with mine. Shechem offers gifts, a bride price untold. Whatever you ask, with silver and gold. The sons of Jacob answered with guile, such a union can't happen in this style. Unless you're circumcised like we've been, only then will this covenant begin. Their words concealed a vengeful plan. Born of the hurt, Shechem began.
He took it to the men, their unity to seal. All of their daughters will become our own. Their wealth and their land will soon be our home. But truth was veiled in the words they spoke. Deception lingered and vengeance awoke. In the broken promises of sin's dark art, God's justice will weigh every heart. Men of the city in trust obeyed. Circumcision was the price they paid. On the third day when their pain was great, Simeon and Levi would seal their fate. With swords in hand they struck them down, every man in the city, every crown. Their anger burned for their sister's shame, but their deeds would bring Jacob's blame. But truth was veiled in the words they spoke. Deception lingered and vengeance awoke. In the broken promises of sin's dark art, God's justice will weigh every heart. Jacob rebuked them, what have you done? You've brought danger on us, we're outnumbered, my sons. If these nations attack, we'll surely fall. Our name will be lost, and that's not all. Simeon and Levi, unrepentant and bold, replied to their father with a story retold. Should they treat our sister like one of their own? Her honor defended, justice is shown. But truth was veiled in the words they spoke. Deception lingered and vengeance awoke. In the broken promises of sin's dark art, God's justice will weigh every heart. The tale of Dinah is somber and grim. It teaches us trust must rest in Him. Though anger and vengeance may cloud our sight, God's way is mercy, His path is right.
God said to Jacob, arise and go to Bethel's altar where blessings flow. Make a home and there abide, for I appeared when you ran to hide. Bethel, the house of God so near, a place of promise, no room for fear. Worship the one who is faithful and true, the God of your fathers who carried you through. Jacob called to his household and crew, put away idols, they don't hold true. Purify yourselves, change your attire. Let's meet with the God who quenches fire. To Bethel we'll go, to the altar we'll pray, to the God who answered in my trouble that day. He's walked with me through the paths I've roamed, a sheltering God, my eternal home. Bethel, the house of God so near, a place of promise, no room for fear. Worship the one who is faithful and true, the God of your fathers who carried you through. They gave Jacob their idols of gold, the rings from their ears, the stories untold. He buried them deep by Shechem's tree, then journeyed forward to God's decree. The terror of God fell on towns nearby, so Jacob's family could safely pass by. No one pursued them, no harm befell, as they returned to Bethel's well. Bethel, the house of God so near, a place of promise, no room for fear. Worship the one who is faithful and true, the God of your fathers who carried you through. At Bethel's side, Jacob built his stone. Jacob journeyed from Bethel's land, with his family close at hand. But Rachel travailed on the way, in childbirth pains near Ephra's stay. Life and loss, joy and tears, God is faithful through the years. From birth to rest his love remains, a guiding hand in joy and pain. Her labor grew hard, the time was near, a son was born amidst her fear. With her last breath she named him Ben-Oni, but Jacob called him Benjamin, his joy to be. Life and loss, joy and tears, God is faithful through the years. From birth to rest his love remains, a guiding hand in joy and pain. Rachel was buried on Ephrat's plain, a pillar marked her resting frame. Jacob mourned but pressed ahead, though sorrow lingered for the dead. From Rachel's grave to Isaac's kid, Jacob's journey would not end within. Through trials faced and blessings received, God's promises he still believed. Israel moved and pitched his tent. Beyond Migdal Eder his path was bent. But there his son brought grief anew, sinful actions that Jacob knew. Life and loss, joy and tears, God is faithful through the years. From birth to rest his love remains, a guiding hand in joy and pain. The 12 sons of Jacob were listed clear: Reuben, Simeon, Levi near, Judah, Zebulun, Issachar's line, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher.